Reaching a big milestone in another big year. Time just keeps on marching on, that is crystal clear. 23 full years of questing, no banks or deaths, I've got my tricks. RuneScape 3 Hardcore Ultimate Ironman, questing through 2006. Welcome back to May 2nd, 2006. And the next ill-conceived grind here. I want a tooth half of a key to go with this loop half of a key, and that is easier said than done. Very much a rare drop table kind of situation, where it's 1 in hundreds or even 1 in thousands from tons and tons of different things. But trying to actually go for it is difficult. Had a few ideas that didn't work super well. Just trying to test a general idea of how long it would take based on how often we hit the rare drop table in like sapphires, which are way more common than tooth halves. Tried some hill giants. Didn't get any in quite some time. And then there's all the changes with the rare drop table. So, another idea, potentially, is Dust Devils, because of the rare drop table changes and how they work. But they're stronger, they take longer to kill. Another, one of the very few options, is Caskets, which can be got from Big Net Fishing. Here on Apatol, because it's only, well, there it is. Here on Apatol, because the one fishing spot here in the corner here is just the Big Net Fishing. So I need to switch around. There is 87 fishing. Nothing there, but a good level. Based on some information, Casket should be around 1 in 85-ish. And then opening it is kind of like just getting the gem rare drop table itself. Sapphires, coins, emeralds, rubies, diamonds. Also cosmic talismans. And then most importantly, the tooth half. And also loop half. This casket contains an emerald. There you go. So yeah, if it is roughly 1 in 85 to get a casket, and then it is 1 in 128 to get the tooth half, we're talking like 10,000 fish. But on the positive side, very, very AFK. We can just do this while doing pretty much anything else. Working on other videos. Working. But anyways, the idea is to try to get this. I've got some time. But we also need to work on updates and all that too. We've got somewhat of a deadline here. Hey, another casket. Coins. These are the coins we've gotten. So yeah, going to keep fishing here. Maybe we get it. Maybe we don't. And almost half a level later, there is a tooth half. Also got another loop half, so there we go. Combine those to make a crystal key. And technically 2 glories would be better. I still have time here. So we're going to keep chancing it here. There's every possibility we just get more loop halves, which are not very helpful. Don't need more than 2 dragon stones right now. 88 fishing. That is fungal algae, once it exists. That's also big net fishing. Amazing. Yeah, big net fishing is not good XP at all. Also, since we're dropping all the fish, we're not getting any of the cooking XP. But that would wildly decrease the fishing rate, since there's no like range or anything here. We have to do that in, like, Catherby. Then we have to worry about all the other fishing spots. So, for what we're trying to do, this is fine. Still getting more cooking speed from previous cooking and fishing adventures. So, that's fine. It will be fine. Everything's fine. Oh yeah. Ooh, a casket. It's coins. And there it is. You find half a key. The exact half we needed for another crystal key. Well, the thought does occur to me that we probably should have opened the first chest. But now we have 2. Let's go open 2 crystal chests. Right over here in Taverley. Crystal chest is looking chesty. Not very crystal. That's okay. The other one's more crystal looking. We'll get there eventually. Open the crystal chest. Whole bunch of stuff that could be in here. Lots of different possible rolls. We'll see if we get any of the correct ones here. Open the chest. Yeah, a dragonstone and a plated salvage. That would have been a rune plate skirt or rune plate legs. That's pretty good. And we're going to obviously take it, not bank it. We don't have a bank. Let's take that. And open it again for lantidime seeds. That is not one of the options. So take all and drop these. Not that we would have much use for lantidime seeds anyways, because they are much higher level farming. But now we have 2 dragonstones. And this salvage that we need to alch. It's gonna alch for a lot though. Very worthwhile. Very cool. But just cutting the dragonstones obviously is not going to be enough. We need to prepare for what we want to make here. And oh boy, is that going to be a lot of pieces. Got a nature rune, pickaxe for mining, chisel, balls of wool, mold, mine some gold. And speaking of gold, we got 11,000 coins from the big net fishing. It's not fast. Smelt the gold ore into gold bars. Brilliant. We can alch the salvage here, which in itself is 32,000. I'll take it. I will take it. Chisel on the dragonstones to cut the dragonstones. And then use all this together in crafting a dragonstone amulet. Requires 80 crafting. We have 76. But we can make that boost happen with spicy stews. But since we're going to be getting spicy stews for getting a level boost, I think we also should make one more thing, since it's going to be convenient to do at the same time. We could easily make a mithril hatchet for woodcutting. But I think we can do better. We can do adamant. Mine an adamantite rock here with our bronze pickaxe. Easier said than done in either version of mining and smithing here. And then we get to the mining and smithing work portion, where instead of needing some coal to make an adamant bar, we need luminite, which is not a thing that exists. So we don't have an option, unfortunately. This is one of the things that's really stopping me from being able to do adamant smithing in the future for leveling. That and the location of the adamantite rocks. They're not very good. Mithril will be okay in the future. Not here. Got some plans on that regard. But we need to go mine a luminite from Dwarven Mine or something. It's a thing that doesn't exist from a place that it isn't in because it doesn't exist. Either way, we will get ourselves the one bit of that we need. And then we need to do some smithing. With the old smithing table here, we need to smelt an adamant bar and make the axe. And that requires 70 1 smithing. So again, a boost is required. These are both only +4 boosts, when technically +5 boosts would be possible. But they are more rare, so that's okay. What we need to do to get these boosts, we need stews, and we need orange spices. And that is where the cat comes in. Gonna be hunting some hell rats, getting the orange spices, getting the stews ready. We don't have a huge amount of inventory, so if we don't get the boost, we're going to need to go and get more stews and everything. But totally doable. Got the stews in Sears Village, and then go to Edgeville, then decide where we want to go for various bits here. Because we definitely need to be at the furnace first. What with the needing to smelt the bar or do the crafting. It's going to be an either or both system here. We'll get it there. The lazy Hellcat is unfortunately not quite as good at catching rats as the wily Hellcat. Presumably, with enough rat catching, it would be retrained into a wily Hellcat. And later, apparently stroking the cat and balls of wool and the rat toy and toy rats also help. Apparently not yet. Most of the time you wouldn't get a lazy cat, since you wouldn't have it being following you around all the time. Almost quicker, depending on how long it takes to just go get a new cat, get it overgrown and trained into wily. And then not have it follow you around all the time, so it has no chance to become lazy. It's an unfortunate system. That's alright. We got all the things we need here. Spicy stew, more orange spices, 3 sets of spice in each stew for maximum benefits. Or maximum disadvantages. Plus and minus 5 is possible. We are looking for 80 crafting and 70 or 71 smithing. Let's see what we got. We got 7 chances with this inventory. If that doesn't work out, we need to go get more stews and spices. As long as it takes here. Could be just one and done. Never know. Minus everything. That's not ideal. In this situation, we prepare the next stew and wait for the stats to rechange. If we drink it now, we would still have the plus or minus 5. But since it's -1 already, it's basically possibly going to -6 or up to +4. And we need the +4. So by doing it now, we would have less of a chance. If they're already positive, you can get away with immediately having another one in order to keep trying for the buff. You can't use many stews in a row to attempt to get like +10 or anything crazy. There is the crafting. So we'll make dragonstone amulets. Put that in. Put that in. Dragonstone necklaces, or amulets technically. Dragonstone amulets. We need to enchant these still, but that is a whole separate business. We got time. Got 2 spices. Smell it. A lot of orange spice. 66. No good. So now we need to wait another minute. Technically, we could get away with doing this at an anvil if we bring the runes to superheat the adamant bar. That's very doable. We also get the cosmic runes that we need here. Over here in Allie Morsane's shop. I'd be on the lookout for the buff here. $66 again. Meh. We will buy the runes. Easily doable. Get over to Varrock Anvil and be prepared. Alright, there it is, 71. superheat the adamant, smith the adamant into a hatchet, begin project. Mine and smith and rework. Taking more time here. Would be instantaneous, so even if this drops back to 70, we have gotten it. This is under control. Really made a second adamant bar there, so we need to drop this one. That's not real. It's gonna be so much nicer dealing with mining and smithing after the mining and smithing rework. But we still need to do a lot more before then, unfortunately. Adamant hatchet. Lovely stuff. That'll be great for chopping a whole bunch of logs. Then we also have enchants for the amulets of glory. Enchanted. Enchanted. Amazing. There's one more thing we can do with the amulets of glory here. Back in February 2002, we came down here, under the Heroes Guild, to check out what's down here. Got a dragon, some rocks that are different, and the Fountain of Heroes, which can enchant the Amulet of Glory, and later the Ring of Wealth, charging them with teleport options to Edgeville, Karamja, Dren Village, and Al-Kharid. Unfortunately, it is still a bit of work to come down here to get the charges every time. Still, could be useful. What they're going to be immediately useful, though, is going to be as a weapon upgrade over the necklace. Amulet upgrade. Amulet strength. It's good for only melee. Gives some bonus here. Amulet of glory. Gives a bigger bonus. And also works for all combat styles. So if we want to do some magic, if we want to do some ranged, we are here with our Amulet of Glory, ready to go. Technically, at this point, there is the Amulet of Fury, but that is much higher level. We're not going to be able to make that. Plus, getting an Onyx is questionable at best. This is very cool. Could High Elk the Amulet of Strength. I don't need to buy some more Law Runes too. Get that done, and then we can continue looking at what we are doing. Adamant Hatchet is something I always want. Law Runes, 1 runes, Earth Runes, 5 runes. Depends how we're feeling. Oh yeah. Adamant Hatchet. Amulet of Glory. And another one. We have 2 for a reason. We will get to that. How about we get some food while we go through the next few updates and posts and such. Be a good thing to do while waiting to get some sharks here. On May 3rd, 2006, an anti-cheating team hype post, essentially. Talking about how they process abuse reports, deal with macrowares, track the GP of real-world traders to ban not only the bots but also their main accounts, how the player moderators help out, content updates to make things more difficult for cheaters, like bank pins and the recent rune essence changes, the fact that you can use the report abuse feature to help them out, and also try to keep your account secure. Because they like to hack you, too. It's a lot of problems. Oh yeah. Anti-cheating. Lots of stuff. May 10th, 2006. New system in the knowledge base on the website. The quest help system. Get a hint on your next quest step without having to go look up a full guide. In case you want to actually still need to try a little bit. There's also an option for a slightly larger hint. But each hint you get takes a point. You can only get up to 4 hints per day. It's currently in beta, so it only works for the free-to-play quests. But if you want a little bit of help, you can go for it. Apparently quite a few of the help tickets and stuff were for free-to-play accounts. So this frees up a lot of the customer support team to be able to do other things instead of constantly helping people with Ernest the Chicken and stuff. It's a whole thing. There still are absolutely fan sites that you can go to get full walkthroughs and everything. Very, very doable. On May 16th, 2006, a big game engine upgrade. The biggest since RuneScape 2, in fact. That's been a little bit at this point. More features for future updates and just general game expansion. Improvements include memory usage, chat filter, anti-macro technology, support for dual CPU computers, accented chat characters, which has had some problems in the future, compatibility with Firefox for sound, and firewalls. So, just in general, making things work better, and getting ready for future stuff that they have planned. Over in pest control, some changes. Monster stats tweaked, and you can now have up to 250 Void Knight commendation points, up from only 15. So you can save up for soon-to-be-released rewards. Only 250 points, though, so you can't save up thousands and thousands and just buy a whole bunch of everything. Still something, though. It'll get you some of the ways there. And also, small desert lizards now require the correct Slayer level and ice coolers. Really, the smallest level lizards were just lizards. Didn't count. Wild. May 17th, 2006. We were just talking about fan sites and how you could use their quest helping and all that. But if you make an account there, you might have some problems. One of the large fan sites had their password database stolen, leaked username and password combinations. So, and this is in all caps in the post, do not use your RuneScape password for any other website. Especially if you're connecting it to the same name and it's on a fan site. It's a very good way to get your account hacked. Generally don't use the same password for anything, for any other website, if you're trying to actually be remotely safe here. It's a problem. Just the constant stream of helping with getting their account back after it gets hacked. It's a whole thing. On May 22nd, 2006, 2 new random events. We got the Evil Twin, where you need to look at the outfit that the twin is wearing, go through the door, and use a giant crane mechanism to capture the Evil Twin and put them in jail. Then you get some random coins, gems, and such rewards. And also, pinball, where a troll with a pinball flipper whisks you away to inside of a pinball machine, except large size. We have to run around tagging the flashing pillars before you get to leave. So, just more random events. Goal still essentially being anti-macro, but eventually they just figure out how to do it anyways, so eh. And the next quest. Check quest here. It is Royal Trouble. Requires Throne of Miscellanea, so we're continuing up in that direction. Also, 40 Agility and 40 Slayer. Our stats are really quite nice. We've got the requirements for quite a few quests. I've got the whole list, so I've got plans. Here we go. Required items, none, technically. We've got the pickaxe in case the spawn isn't there anymore. We're going to be grabbing coal planks, ropes, whole piles of things that are quest specific, but just during the thing. Bit of combat, bit of doing stuff. Just need to head over to Miscellanea. The quest starts. You're in the throne room. There's King Vargas. Still chilling out. Yeti form. We'll figure that out later. But for right now, you need to talk to Advisor Grimm. Greetings, Your Royal Highness. Hello. Has anything been happening in the kingdom recently? Says the guy that hasn't been here in 36 weeks. We do our best. And by that I mean nothing at all. Because they send things to our bank and we don't care about that. Can't use it. Anything happening around here? Interesting that you should ask that, Your Royal Highness. You see, the people are worried that war will break out again. King Vargas has found himself with little to do now that you are the regent. He intended at first to return to adventuring. Unfortunately, we still have not had the doors to the throne room enlarged so that he can leave. So, what has he been doing? He's been trying to rule once more in your absence. However, he has once again quarreled with the Queen of Exectaria. The two of them have been writing letters to each other, threatening to raise armies and declare war on each other once more. I see. Your Royal Highness, I suggest that you deal with this matter and reconcile the two of them again. Such a quarrel is not good for Miscellanea. Fair enough. Accept. Very well, I'll sort this all out. Thank you, Your Royal Highness. I suggest you talk to the Prince and Princess to find out more about the situation. Princess Astrid has been asking after you. She'd be very much like to see you once again. Alright. Princess Astrid, hanging out over here. Just raise some questions about King Vargas not being able to leave this room. Not gonna worry about that. Princess, how's it going? Hello, darling. Well, welcome back, my dear. I'm afraid I haven't managed to find a priest for our marriage yet. That's a pity. Oh, Advisor Grimm said I should talk to you and the prince about recent events in the kingdom. I'll ask Father if he minds us discussing this in the throne room for a while. He's literally in there. Currently. He can't leave. Where is he? Is he just sitting in the corner? This cutscene doesn't make a lot of sense. We should discuss this somewhere else. Advisor Grimm told me to talk to you about the situation in Miscellanea. What has happened while I've been away? And boy, have we been away. It's terrible, my darling. My father's been arguing with the Queen of Exectaria and has managed to start a war again. It's awful that your work has been undone by such an accident. What do you mean, an accident? Well, if my father had something to occupy him, he wouldn't have got bored and decided to argue with Queen Sigrid again. What would you suggest he do, then? We can't have him declaring war all the time, even if it would give us a chance to show off our military might. And I could finally show him that archery isn't a cowardly skill. If only we had an army, we could prove ourselves against the Exectarians. Astrid, I have an even better idea. Better than archery? What is it? I think we should persuade our father and Queen Sigrid to marry. What are you talking about, Brand? Think of the poetic irony of the situation. The best part is that I could write their wedding hymn for them. Today is a happy day. We are getting married. Our national anthems are wonderful. Won't you sing this song? I'm not sure that's such a good idea. I think it will work. Really. I quite agree. Perhaps it's an odd idea, my darling, but since we don't have an army, we can hardly declare war. Are you sure it'll work? I trust my brother's judgment. Really? Those ideas can sometimes be a little strange. What was that, Astrid? Just telling here about your poetic accomplishments. Oh, that's all right then. So will you talk to our father and Queen Sigrid then? I'm sure that you can manage to arrange it all. I'll give it a try. But they'll still be angry with each other, so I don't think it'll work. I'm sure you'll manage to do it, darling. We'll give it an attempt at least. My goodness. Hey, King Vargas. That conversation we just had in the room that you can't leave. How's it going? Your Majesty. What is it? You'll have to excuse me, I'm quite busy. What are you busy with, Your Majesty? Affairs of state and so on. I thought I was supposed to deal with those once you appoint me regent. Well, there's not all that much for me to do these days, you see. And though you do make a fine regent, you cannot be here all the time. I'm literally never here. So you're still helping to rule, Your Majesty? In a matter of speaking, these affairs of state you're dealing with, would these involve starting a war with Queen Sigrid of Exectaria? Not exactly. Well, yes. Of course, Sigrid was the one who insulted me first. And that's the least of the kingdom's problems at the moment. Some of Froni's barrels are missing, as are many of Magnus's crates. Leif also said he had stacks of wood disappear. Since you're regent, you should investigate what has happened to these missing resources. Right away, Your Majesty. I'm glad to see the kingdom in such capable hands. All you need to do for the moment is talk to the citizens of Miscellanea. Find out what's been happening. Might also be useful to interrogate the citizens of Exectaria. See what they know. Fair enough. Things going missing. It's not ideal. We'll look around. See what we can figure out here. Talk to a few of the people in just the general area here. Basically the people that you can collect the resources with. Also talk to Gardner here. Good day, Your Royal Highness. Royal trouble. King Vargas tells me that things have been going missing from the kingdom. Can you tell me anything about that? You hadn't heard, Your Royal Highness? Exectarian soldiers came and demanded tithes from us. You're the only person we give any of our goods to, so we refused, and found the next day that some of our goods had been stolen. Oh my. Exectarian soldiers coming over here. That's not good. Lumberjack. Your Highness. Any info on being things stolen? Exectarian soldiers. Wild. Wild stuff. And also go and talk to people over in Exectaria. Just across the little bridge here. Not exactly a far distance to travel. Hold off. How's it going? Excuse me. What is it? How's the weather? Could be better. Let's talk to the Queen. Try to get to the bottom of this whole Exectarian army business. That's not good. They're trying to declare war, but as we learned before, they don't have armies. So, what's going on? Queen Sigrid. Your Majesty, do you have a moment? Incompetent. I'll give him incompetence. Yes, what is it? I hear from King Vargas that relations between Exectaria and Miscellanea are none too cordial at the moment. Of course not. That idiot Vargas has decided to take a hand in ruling Miscellanea, even though he'd handed it over to you, and now he's declared war on Exectaria again. I suppose all those insults I made about his parentage can't have helped the matter. Even so, that doesn't excuse what he did to my citizens. What happened, Your Majesty? My citizens have told me that items of theirs have been taken. I'm sure that Vargas is behind it. Since you're the one who's supposed to be ruling Miscellanea, you should sort it out. Of course, it is my duty. Good, good. Talk to the citizens of Exectaria, and they will tell you exactly what happened. I found out for myself, but the pressures of ruling are immense, and I would never have the free time. Of course not. Go and talk to some of the citizens here. Yeah, Exectarian. Kind of getting the Queen's permission to talk to everybody and try to figure out what's going on. Because in theory, they're at war here. Excuse me. Queen Sigrid tells me that things have been going missing from the kingdom. Can you tell me anything about this? You didn't know about it? Miscellanean soldiers came here a few days ago, saying they wanted us to pay tribute. Of course, I told them to leave. But in the morning, I found they'd stolen my quiver of arrows. They're not valuable arrows, but I need them to do my job. Could you give them back for me? I'll see what I can do. So everybody's getting everything stolen. That's bad. Everybody. From the armies that don't exist. You guys been putting up an army while I was gone. That's not helping. Hey, talked to the citizens yet? I've talked to the Miscellanean citizens as well as the Exectarians. What exactly happened? The Exectarian citizens said that Miscellanean soldiers came to their house and demanded tribute. Just as I suspected, Vargas, you treacherous snake. And the Miscellanean citizens said that the Exectarian army marched in their fields and demanded tithes. What? Now I see his plan. Vargas isn't content with simply arguing. He wants to start a war, even means swindling his own citizens. Your Majesty, a sectarian army? There hasn't been one for centuries. These miscellaneous soldiers of his must have disguised themselves. If I may, and since Vargas shouldn't even be ruling now, it's your responsibility to deal with this. The one who should sort this out is you. I suppose so. It's one of the hazards of ruling a country, Rekir. You'll get used to it. I suppose you're right. Oh my goodness. Yeah, like we thought, there is no army. See if Vargas has an army. He's been doing things behind our backs here. Putting up an army? Wouldn't be super surprised. But there's really not a lot of people on these islands here to make an army. Everybody's kind of busy doing their own things. Ain't nobody got time for armies. Vargas, what's going on? And this is why we shouldn't leave. Let people do things themselves. Clearly, we should have been here. We could probably do these quests back to back. And King Vargas has been busy for all of 5 seconds messing everything up. Anyways, King Vargas! Have you spoken to the citizens yet, Riku? I've spoken to the miscellaneous citizens, as well as the sectarians. What did they say? Miscellaneous citizens said the sectarian army marched in their fields and demanded tithes. What? I see. Sigrid thinks that now I've recognized Exectaria as a sovereign nation. Will just roll over and play dead when she's trying to invade, does she? And the Exectarian citizens said that the miscellaneous soldiers came to their houses and demanded tribute. And she's even started spreading rumors amongst her own citizens. Are there no depths to which she won't sink? Your Majesty, lying to her own people about there being miscellaneous soldiers who don't even have an army. Which makes it all the worse, as otherwise I'd be able to invade Exectaria to save the citizens from Sigrid's depravity. I'm not sure that would work very well, Your Majesty. Perhaps not, Rekir. In any case, if there are any miscellaneous soldiers, they must have come from somewhere. Ask Advisor Groom if he knows who they might be, or where they might have come from. He's a capable advisor, so I'm sure he'll know about any suspicious people. I'll do that, Your Majesty. Advisor! Is that information? Greetings, Your Royal Highness. Let's ask about what King Vargas asked me to talk to you about. He said you might know more about the missing goods. I'm not sure what you're implying, Your Highness. You could advise me where to look for them? Ah, of course. Assuming that nobody presently living in Miscellanea would have taken them, it is of course likely that someone from outside took them. The sailor who brought you here from the mainland will be the first to see any suspicious visitors. I suggest you ask him about recent arrivals to the island. That's a good plan. Good plan. He's a good advisor. Advice. That's what you like to see from an advisor. Yeah, since everybody is accounted for, because there's so few people to account for, any random armies must not be from around here. We'll go to the sailor. We sailed in with him to get here. So you would see anybody coming in. Because there's not currently any other ways to really get to Miscellanea here. Sailor! Are you the sailor? Guy whose name is Sailor? You found one here. How can I help you? The king's advisor said I should talk to you. He said there have been some suspicious people arriving recently. I don't know of any suspicious people. Advisor Grimm can be rather paranoid about these things sometimes. Oh, has anyone visited the island recently then? Nobody apart from you and those kids from Rolaka. What kids from Rolaka? 5 of them came over here a few weeks ago. They said they were here to see relatives in the dungeons, and they were visiting from the mainland. I didn't realize the king kept people in his dungeons. I didn't even know Miscellanea had dungeons. They've not been used to keep prisoners for a long time, but since the war ended, we've had more people visiting the island. Some of them decided they wanted to stay, so we've had to find somewhere for them to live. Only the weather on Miscellanea is terrible, and nobody could build houses that would stand up to a strong wind. Exoteria is just the same. So they decided to live in the dungeons instead. Well, of course, they had to be enlarged first. There are still some dwarves working there, making more of the dungeons inhabitable, before they move over to work in Exoteria. If you're looking for those kids from Aleka, you'll find them in the dungeons. Why are you surprised about this, though? I thought you became the regent. I'm still an adventurer. I can't be everywhere in Gielinor. In the dungeons, they say. My goodness. What will they think of next? What will they think of next? I'm going down. Underground. To the dungeons. It's gonna be a whole thing. Dungeons. You can see arrow down here. Climb down the ladder. Sorry, sir. Nobody's allowed down there by order of the king. But I'm regent. I order you to let me go down there. You're the regent. Well, I didn't vote for you. Sorry, Mr. Regent. Nobody can go into the dungeons without the king's say-so. What'll it take to convince you that I'm really the regent? If the king came and told me, then I believe it. Or, if he can't come here himself, I suppose a royal proclamation would be fine. A royal proclamation? Does he have to shout from the battlements or something like that? No, just a signature and a statement saying you're really the regent would do. Fine. We literally could just walk past. There's nothing they could do to stop us. But we'll play along. We'll play along. Back up to the king here. How's it going? King Vargas. Your Majesty, how do I get into the dungeons? The dungeons? Oh, of course. How could I have forgotten? I'm surprised I didn't tell you when you were appointed regent. It's okay. The sailor explained it to me. He said that the only new arrivals on the island were some teenagers who came from Aleka to visit their relatives. Those relatives were living in the houses in the dungeons. Ah, so you wish to look in the dungeons in case these new arrivals are to blame? I doubt that anyone with miscellaneous relatives would be at fault. However, there's something I need you to do in the dungeons. They are still being constructed, and the dwarven architects are finding new caves as they go. There have been reports of odd sightings in these new caves. Perhaps they are monsters, waiting to devour unwary miscellaneans. Whatever they are, I want you to look into it. You're a member of the royal family, after all, so I know I can rely on you to help. Of course, Your Majesty. The guard by the dungeon entrance may not recognize you, since he was only hired recently. Here, take this scroll to show that you have access to the dungeons. You'll find the entrance by the southeast corner of the palace. Fair enough. One royal scroll here. Read it. I, King Vargas, proclaim that the bearer of this scroll is the regent of Miscellanea. Presumably the part where he said I, King Vargas, counts as a signature here. We'll take what we can get here. Should be good. Right down in here. Into the dungeons. A guard. Nobody's allowed in here but we're the king. I'm regent. Or you let me go down there. Didn't vote for you. Let the king say so. Look, the king gave me a scroll saying I have access to the dungeons. Have it right here. Let's have a look then. Here you go. It all seems to be in order. Alright, Your Highness. You're free to go down there. Try not to be eaten by monsters. My goodness. Climb down the ladder. Down in the dungeon. Less of a dungeon, more of a cave with buildings and such. Let's look at all the buildings. We've got various shops and things down here. Oswald, hey there. Welcome to the Miscellanea Food Store. We've only opened recently. Would you like to buy anything, Your Royal Highness? Thank you. What do you got for sale? He's got all sorts of things. Various bits of food. It's got more produce and stuff too, which is definitely something. Down in the caves here. For the actual food stuff, it's probably still more convenient to just go to the Colonial chest in Lumbridge. Well, that's okay. Good supplies, I suppose. We can also ask him about what it's like living down here. Down in these caves. The town's growing larger and business is doing well. I'm worried about these stories I've heard about monsters, though. Well, what stories of monsters? I heard that one of the dwarves saw monsters in the other caves. I don't know more than that, so you'd have to ask the dwarves. Concerning. Alright. What are the other stories here, then? We'll deal with monster threat later. Hey, Hala. Welcome to Miscellaneous First Clothing Store. We sell clothing made especially for Fremniks and dwarves. Can I help you with anything, Your Royal Highness? Yeah, sure. What do you got for sale? They've got clothing for Fremniks and dwarves. The Fremnik shirts, Fremnik robes, and the short dwarven sets here. Nothing really new, just all in one shop here, instead of having to go to Relica and Keldagrim. They've got lots of dwarves nearby, so that makes a lot of sense to have an extra clothing area for them to buy stuff to. We've got the general store. It's a general store. Dr. Finn here. Help you, Your Royal Highness? What are you selling? Wow, it's a general store. It's good to have a general store. Never know when you might need some general supplies. Lovely stuff. There's a few other people hanging around. Name and everything. Ranulf. Hello. Good day, Your Royal Highness. Not much to say. Last interesting building here. We've got a pub of sorts. Runa, how's it going? Want to try some fine miscellanean ale, Your Royal Highness? Well, I say miscellanean, but it's actually brewed on the mainland. Would you like to try some anyway? Yes, please. They've got beer, jugs of wine, tea, and cider, which is not something you can really get in any other pub or anything. You'd have to brew it instead. I have access to cider here. Not that that's super helpful, but thematically, could use these in the future. That'd be okay. But overall, not too shabby of a little town down here. Things definitely could be worse. You got food, clothes, shelter. Doing better than some towns, honestly. How you doing down here? The dwarves living down here spend a lot of time and money in my inn. One of them's been here all day and only bought 1 pint. Can you ask him to at least order another drink? I'll see what I can do. And here is said dwarf. Donald, how you doing? What do you want? What are you doing down in these caves? I'm waiting to work on the excavations. Though I don't really want to start digging again. Ugh, why not? I thought digging was something dwarves were good at. Not with monsters like that one down in those caves. It had huge teeth and flaming red eyes. It was almost the size of the tunnel. If it attacks the town... Are you an adventurer by any chance? Adventurer and regent of Miscellanea. In that case, could you go and deal with that monster? I don't want to have to face it again if it attacks the town. Of course. Dealing with monsters is what I do best. Adventure. That's what we're here for. You need to get into the other caves first, of course. There's a crack in the wall where the others are digging, where the rocks are loose and can fall on you if you're not careful. I can give you a mining prop to keep them from falling. You give me a minute to find it. Okay. So all I need to do is get through that wall? No. After that, the only way you can get further is climbing up onto a high ledge, then crawling through a tunnel. But the walls are slippery, and I think I might have broken the lift when I fell off it on my way back. You'll probably need to fix the lift. I doubt you'd be able to climb. And the monster is behind that tunnel. Somewhere behind it. I couldn't get very far, what with the flooding in the tunnel. There's some rope and some planks near the broken lift. Those would probably come in handy. Ah, here's that mining prop. I knew I had it somewhere. Here you go. Good luck with fighting that monster. Well, they're really leaning on the fact there's a monster in here. It's probably fine. Like we said before, we've dealt with monsters. Got some more guys up here. Here is Ferd. Good day, sir. What you doing down here? Shoring up the walls. What does that do? Stops them from falling down. Oh, I see. Aye. If you want to chat, you better talk to Thoradin over there. I'm working. Okay, then. Thoradin, how's it going? Good day, sir. What you doing down here? Extended the cave so more people can live in it. These miscellaneans aren't so bad. They appreciate the benefits of living underground. Such as not getting rained on, for one. Have you spoken to Donald? Yeah, I have. The monster we talked about could be in the caves nearby. Better get in there and do something about it, then. Alright. We got an axe in the rocks here we can take. We don't need one. And these rocks. Not coal anymore. Here's the coal. Coal's in here. Squeeze through. I'm gonna shore up this wall before I can go in. Use the mine prop. Props the wall to stop rocks from falling down. Preferable. Squeeze through the crevice. And we are in. In this room. We've got a whole broken lift that we need to get up there. Coal rock. Lift manual. Take rope from a crate. An engine. Take beam from crate. Take beam from crate. Rope. Rope. Engine. Pulley beam. 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 Pulley beam. Whole bunch of stuff. We don't need extra engines and crates here. Let's read this lift manual. Should give us information. Troubleshooting your AMCE lift in a box. My lift doesn't work. Have you added the pulleys? Make sure you have a long top beam with a pulley and pulleys on the two cross beams. Recommend AMC pulley beams in a box. So put in the pulleys. Need a long top beam with a pulley. Pulleys on the two cross beams. Pulley beam on the beam. Another pulley beam for the top beam. Too short to make the top beam. Use a beam on the beam, another beam to the beam. Longer pulley beam. It is in fact quite long. How's that for an item? Wild, love it. Pulley beam. The cross beam up on the beam. There you go. Look how tall that is. I mean, another pulley beam up in the corner there. Beautiful. Got a whole pulley system going on. 2. Have you attached a rope? One of your M-key ropes in a box through the pulleys. Rope. Pulleys. Rope with pulleys. Troubleshooting. It's going great. Is the platform broken? Repair it with one of your M-key beams in a box. Platform. It is in fact broken. We'll repair it with a beam. Fixed. 4. Have you added the engine? The M-key lift in a box does not include an engine. That's important to have with the in a box. You need an extra engine lying around. There you go. 5. Have you added coal to the engine? All compatible coal engines have a maximum load of 5 chunks of coal. Coal. We can mine coal. Got a bronze pickaxe here. It's not particularly good. Good enough, though. Especially with 78 mining. We really got this under control here. Eventually, we're going to be doing some actual mining and smithing. And that'll be a good time to purchase a rune pickaxe. But just for one-off bits of questing and stuff, really unnecessary. Use the coal on the engine. Put the coal in. Keep adding more coal. And roars to life once you put 5 coal in it. Don't even need to light it. Everything's great. MC lift in a box, pulley beams in a box, and ropes in a box are all registered trademarks of Ali Morsane Commercial Enterprises, MC Limited. Ali Morsane. What a guy. Alright. And now we can use the lift platform to go up the lift. It really goes to here. Grab a free plank. Always a good time we can have a free plank. And enter the tunnel to where the monster is. So is there a small hole in the wall? Lovely stuff. And it's already kind of dug out here. Or just kind of already existed. Got a rope pulley here. It's on the wrong side. Add another rope for ourselves. Swing across this little bit of water here. Very necessary. Very cool. You see embers of a fire up ahead. Has someone else been in these caves? How mysterious. And some fire remains. Read Burnt Diary. Property of Armad, Brunt's son. Read at your own peril. To steal this book, my dad will beat you up. Hey. So, a burnt diary. Concerning. And rocks we can put planks on. The classic agility bit here. You know, you can barely see the water. It exists. There's some water here. Maybe. You can see it almost glowing here. Being able to see through the water has not helped with the imagining that you need to actually deal with it situation. Fire remains. We added a book. We added a page to the diary. Year 3 of trials. Day 20. We're doing really badly at the trials. Megarth broke his lyre for the 5th time. Hild got lost in the maze again. And Rain and Sickney were both sick all over Manny. When are we going to finish these trials and become adults? My father keeps telling me to improve, saying that I should try harder to become a proper Fremenic adult. Year 4 of trials, day 144. The trials aren't going well. I broke my arm while fighting a cow, and Megarth almost fell into the furnace. Luckily, my father saved him and Signe from spilling molten iron all over the adults. Askeladden's already become an adult and keeps making fun of us. He really annoys me. Fremenic youths this just absolutely failing at the Fremenic trials. My goodness. Extra page. Year 5 of trials. Day 78. It's not fair. Father said that me and my friends might never pass our trials. They don't want us helping other people with their trials either. And now he says we have to leave Releka. How can they exile us? They're not doing great. Clearly. Steam vent. Ow. So I go to the steam vent. A plume of steam shoots up and hits you. Rude. Generally, don't walk across steam vents. Lessons to learn. There you go. Year 5 of the trials, day 89. Signe said she heard about 2 island kingdoms that have been at war for hundreds of years. If we go there and make peace, will my father finally agree that we're true Fremenic adults? Year 5 of trials, day 93. Life's not fair. We got to the island kingdoms and they said that an adventurer had recently made peace by promising to marry the daughter of the king. Why does this always happen to us? If we'd just been a little earlier, I could have married the king's daughter. Year 5 of the trials, day 95. Megarth says that just because they're at peace now doesn't mean it will always be. He says he has a plan. Continuing same day here. Year 5 of trials, day 95. Megarth's plan is great. Now all we have to do is find the right armor and a place in one of those caves. Father's gonna be so impressed with me. They've got a plan. It's a good plan? Probably not. Fire. Page. Reading at our own peril. Year 5 of the trials, day 98. The plans worked. The kingdoms are at war again and no one knows we were those soldiers. All we need to do is make peace and the council at home will be so impressed they'll make us adults right away. The next day, year 5 of the trials, day 99. Why did it go so wrong? We were just about to get the goods back, but there are monsters in there. I'm not going anywhere near that giant snake. I think the others agree with me. We're cold and hungry and can't go back to town because we got drunk in the inn and then couldn't pay. It's so bad that we've had to burn bits of my diary to keep warm. Somebody please help us. My goodness. They make a huge disaster, and then get stuck in the caves with the monster. The things we have to deal with here. And here are the culprits. What do we do now? If you hadn't got drunk in the inn, Signe, we could have stayed there for longer. It wasn't just me who got drunk. You looked like you were about to puke all over the barmaid. Rain threw up anyway. I can't help it, I just have a weak stomach. You're no better, Hild. You said you knew where we were, and now look at us. We're cold, we're hungry, and now we're lost. We wouldn't have been so cold if Arnon had more diary pages he'd let us use. Hey, I had to write down what's happened. Otherwise, Father won't believe you when I tell him. If your father listened to what you say, we wouldn't be here. We'd have passed the trials and we'd be proper adults. Besides, it's not like he'd look at the rubbish you've written in your diary. If only my father would come save us. Only if someone would come save us. They're not doing good. Someone's coming! Quick, let's hide! What if it's the monster again? What if it's one of the townspeople? What if my father's found out what we've been doing? Hey, where am I gonna hide? Shh, just pretend you're part of the scenery or something. You're almost smart enough to make a good rock. You want me to hit you? Just act normal. And hurry. Okay. Hello there. Don't bother me. Sorry? I said don't bother me. I'm being a rock at the moment. You can't be a rock. I heard you talking to people earlier. What did you hear? Your name's Armand, isn't it? I found your diary. What? How did you get it? Give it back. Not until you tell me what's going on. What should I tell you? We're going to do really well and show my father that we're true adults. What, by starting a war? What the... Did you read my diary? Yes, all of it. What are you even doing in these caves anyway? Everyone else was scared to come down here. Well, I'm the regent of Miscellanea. The king asked me to take a look. You're the regent? You four, I think you better come out now. We're in big trouble. Yeah. Nice impression of a rock you did there, Armand. Yeah, it was very impressive. So you're the adventurer we heard about then? The one who married the princess? Yes, that's me. Well, technically we haven't gotten married since we don't have a priest yet, but yes, that is me. And you fired the people mentioned in Armand's diary, right? Armand, you should have burnt it all. Did you steal those goods from the sectarians and the Miscellaneans? It was Ingarth's idea, not mine. He said that if we disguised ourselves as soldiers, we convinced both the king and queen they were under attack, and it almost worked too. It would have worked, if it hadn't been for that huge snake. What huge snake? We put the things we'd taken someplace safe, so we could get them back when we made peace again. Everything was going well, till we got back to that place and the giant sea snake had moved in. It's made a nest out of all the boxes and barrels. I don't care about the plan. If you can get rid of that sea snake, we'll be grateful to you. We can't even get out of the dungeons while it's here. I agree with him. I want to go back home. It's cold here. We've got no food. Can't go back to the town. If we got drunk and then didn't pay our bill. So, will we get rid of the sea snake? Of course. I was going to do that anyway. Thank you so much. We're saved from the brink of death. Can I ask you one more thing? What is it? Please don't tell my father how badly we messed up. You guys are a disaster. I'm heading out. Sea snakes. Start off by seeing sea snake hatchlings. They are snakes. And then we get sea snake young, slightly larger snakes. And then we get sea snake young still. A lot of young snakes. If we got all these young snakes, we're gonna have a big one. Interestingly, these guys can drop caskets, but also very rarely. So, really not worth it. Got some light here, coming up from above at the surface. And a crevice to squeeze through, which is always a good plan. We find the giant sea snake. Oh no. Dragon halberd spec. Dragon halberd spec. Dragon halberd spec. He is potentially poisonous. Didn't poison us though, not a huge deal. Heavy box. It's got things. Box of exterior items tumbles from the sea snake's nest. Picking up, and we leave. These crates all known here too. This is where they are storing all their stuff. Hello down there, are you alright? Who's that? I'm up here, above this hole. Throw him down a rope. You sound like you were trapped in there. Yeah, kinda. Climb the exit rope. Brilliant. Hey, how's it going? I'm surprised you managed to get out of there without breaking any bones. Still, can't let you go down there until the queen says it's safe. Hey. Okay. So that is the mystery of the dungeon there. Defeated the monster in the form of Big Snake. And now we got stuff. Talk to people, give them things. Excuse me. What is it? Have you found my core of arrows the Miscellanean soldiers took from me? I found the people who took your arrows. Those Miscellanean soldiers? They weren't Miscellanean soldiers after all. They were teenagers from Malacca who were trying to prove themselves as adults by starting war and then bringing about peace. Are they the incompetent children I've heard about? I've heard stories, but I never realized that'd be that useless. So you have my arrows. I'm still trying to get them back. You do have this box. Let me go see exactly what's in this box. Of the queen and all that. So there's the box of exectarian items. I think she would know whose stuff this is. Box of things. Hey, Queen Sigrid. How's it going? I got a box. Your Majesty. What is it? I found out what caused all these problems. A group of teenagers from Malacca came to Exeteria to prove themselves as adults. They said they tried to start a war, which they'd then stop and be hailed as peacemakers. They were the ones who disguised themselves as soldiers. That explains what the citizens said about armies, I suppose. But what about the items that went missing? Well, there was a minor problem involving a sea snake. But I dealt with it, and got the items back. Finally, a ruler of Miscellanea who's willing to do something for his neighbors. Do you have the items with you? I have them here, yes. Thank you, Rekir. You've shown yourself to be an excellent diplomat and warrior, not a combination that comes naturally to many. My citizens would like their items back, of course. One of my guards will deal with the items for you, and you'll be provided with a suitable reward. Finally, I have a letter that I'd like you to give to Vargas. This war was a mistake, and I've made a formal apology. I'll make sure to give it to him, Your Highness, Your Majesty. Thank you for all your help, Rekir. To show our gratitude, the woodcutters and other workers of Exeteria have pledged to add a proportion of what they produce to your treasury. Now you've finished giving these items back, please give my letter to Vargas. Also got 20,000 coins reward there. Pretty cool. I'll definitely take 20,000 coins. Always a good time. Always a good time. Now we need to go back to Vargas. Just over at the other end of the islands here. And that's easy enough. All the way over here. She was talking about the Exeterian citizens donating things to our coffers and all that. We got the whole bit of that at the end here. First we need to go talk to Vargas. Right over here. Got the letter. I'm not sure I should be reading this. Go ahead and read it anyway. Oh, why not? I'm the regent after all. I can do whatever I want. Vargas, I'm sorry to tell you that I won't be declaring war. The regent has uncovered a plot to make us distrust each other, and I'd rather have my own reasons to go to war than be tricked into it. The regent told me about a snake he killed. He made a good choice of him as a ruler. And how our kingdoms are linked by caves. Perhaps we should be working on our dungeons together. And if you ever find someone who can take that Yeti curse off you, please let me know. You're a warmongering fool, but so am I. I think we'd be well suited to each other. They are absolutely disasters. That is correct. My goodness. Yeah, and the Yeti curse. That's also a whole thing. That is a whole thing. Vargas, we're back. We've solved all the problems. How are your investigations going, Rekir? I've found the people who took the goods from your citizens. Those Exectarian soldiers? They weren't Exectarian soldiers after all. They were teenagers from Malacca who were trying to prove themselves as adults by starting a war and then bring about peace. Why didn't they just go through the trials as usual? Unless they're the ones that the council warned me about. Apparently, some of their young'uns are impressively useless. Still, I can't believe they'd start a war between Miscellanea and Exeteria, just to show they were adults. But at least you found the missing goods. Do you have them with you? I'm afraid not, Your Majesty. There were far too many for me to carry. That's a pity. We'll have to send people down to collect them later then. And I also spoke to Queen Sigrid of Exeteria. She gave me a letter for you, which she said was a formal apology. Oh, do you have this letter with you? Of course, Your Majesty. Here you are. Let me see. You see that sea snake? Sigrid seems rather impressed with that. And the caverns underneath her palace are joined to ours, I see. She thinks we should join forces to develop them for more houses. Finally, that's not what I've expected from Sigrid. What is it, Your Majesty? Like we didn't already read it. She says if I weren't a Yeti, she might want to get to know me better. Since we're both warmongering fools, she thinks we'd get along well. I suppose she has a point there. Rand's suggestion worked, and I didn't even do anything. What was that? Nothing, Your Majesty. Do you want me to give a reply to Queen Sigrid? No, I'll think about it for a while. Though I'd like to tell her that I'm sorry for calling her a warmongering harpy. In the meantime, Rakir, you've managed to avert a war and bring the culprits to light. The Kingdom of Miscellanea will have to reward you for this. I hear that the Exectarians are also grateful for your help and have pledged some of their resources. You can talk to Grimm to deal with those, just as before. Quest complete. 1 quest point. 5,000 agility, 5,000 slayer, 5,000 HP, 20,000 coins, increased resources from Miscellanea, access to the dungeon down there. Ooh, fun. Lamp. Form for the XP now, that's fine. Same amount, all works. No levels. And if we talk to Grimm here, we can see the new resources. Got some new resources here over on this side. Got the farm, which we can get some various seeds from. And also the hardwood section here for teaks and mahoganies. There's also a new option over the herb field to collect flax instead. And also new bonus rewards for collecting enough of the various resources. Stuff like caskets and stuff from fishing, bird's nests from the woodcutting spots, gems from mining, and herb seeds from the herbs here. Which is also pretty good, because that lets you get even more herbs. But of course we can't use any of that, because it is going to the bank. There's like an interface that we could grab the stuff out of, have potential use, but unfortunately, not the case. And so, we're just gonna have to be happy with our bit of XP and 20,000 coins reward here. There would really be some very beneficial things we could do with all the resources from Kingdom. But we can't. That's fine. We also don't need this empty box, or the lift manual, or the diary. Probably not most of this. Although, the plank could be pretty good. Probably just going to get even more planks. It's going to be a whole situation. I'm going to have to sit down. Next time. Goodbye.